Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Visual Media EDU, or VMEDU. My name is Ross. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 stages of visual media production. How does that happen? What happens? It is a very easy, solid, and repeatable process. That is the best part about what the 3 stages of production are. So what are the 3 stages of production? Well, it's pre-production, it's production, and then it's post-production. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you about a secret 4th step, all right? So hang around. So the first one is pre-production. So what is pre-production? Well, pre-production is everything that happens before you ever actually start rolling with the camera, before a camera ever comes out. I'm going to reference my handy-dandy notebook and list here. Got some handwritten notes, y'all. First one is planning. Any planning that has to go into your shoot, this is where it happens. If you're doing planning in any other stage, you've probably made a big mistake and you're having to fix something. This planning includes everything up to what time things arrive, when is lunch on the shoot, who's going to be doing what, where, when, why, how. That includes schedules, so that includes schedules for the talent, if you have any, and schedules for the crew. So if you've got a couple people coming, if you know that, for instance, one of the things that you need to shoot has to be shot at like afternoon time in the evening, you want to make sure that obviously you schedule for that time if that's when that event occurs. Or whenever those things are happening, you want to make sure that you schedule in all the times that you need to shoot and know how long you need to shoot for. And I'm going to generally tell you, however long you need to think you need to shoot for, add about 20% onto it. So tack on an extra 20% for the length of time that you think you need to shoot for, only because something's going to go wrong, battery's going to go dead, anything can happen, right? So next thing, scripts. So who's doing what? Who's reading what? How is this going down? What is being shot exactly, right? Like, what are we doing? Are we talking about shooting some sort of industrial process? And we need to know that, you know, well, this thing comes out here, so we need to be over here, et cetera, et cetera. It could be script for the voiceover. So script doesn't necessarily say one thing or the other. Script can be lots of things. Script can be actions. Script can be words. Script can be something someone needs to say on camera. Script can be like, this is what we're going by to help create this product. And it's not the end of the world if you don't follow the script exactly. The goal is to get as close as you can. You're never going to get it exactly right. You're never going to get anything out of your head perfectly, but you're going to get real close, as long as you do this pre-production and do that scripting really well. Next one, locations. Figuring out where you're going to shoot. So obviously there needs access for whatever it is you're going for. Maybe you need permits, depending on where you're shooting. Knowing all those location factors are going to be big. Outside, inside, power. All those things go into planning your locations. Here's another one, audio. Like, what's the room tone like? Can you get away with having a fan going, you know, or can you get away with a dog near you eating her food, which is great. But I don't know if you can hear it. I'm hoping, you know, but I planned, you know, this location so that way it would be less of a problem in any other room that I have. Talent. Figuring out who the talent's going to be for your shoot. If there's no one on camera, then you don't have to worry about it. If it's a lot of stock footage and a lot of process, that's a different story. But if not, then someone's got to talk, someone's got to say something, someone's got to answer questions. Someone has to be on screen doing this like I'm doing right now. That's how it works. Another pre-production element, gear. What are you going to be shooting on? How are you going to be shooting it? What does that look like for you? Is there a specific look that you're going for? What format are you exporting for? So obviously for this, it's more of a widescreen, or I can turn it vertical if I want to, the way it's been shot, because I went in with that knowledge in the first place. I can change that if I so choose. But you might not be able to do that if you're not shooting it the way that you think you might need to. There again, that is a pre-production thing that you should think about and go through. Another one, and this is one that most people don't think about until post-production, but you should really consider putting it in pre-production, and this is the secret one for this category, okay? And that is file storage, okay? If you're using a modern camera, and you're doing it with any sort of quality, you're going to run out of space fast. especially for a large project within the 5 to 10 minute range, is a hefty gigabyte challenge, depending, especially if you're doing mixed formats and incorporating other media, et cetera, et cetera. You have previous videos too you're trying to put in the package. Like, that entire project file is going to get really big really fast. And you want to make sure that you have the storage already set aside, and the storage for the cameras too. And that's an issue you would want to fight in pre-production and not worry about that in our next step, which is production. So what is production? Well, production is everything that happens on the day or days of the shoot. They are what happens when the cameras are out, the audio's on, the lights are out, all the things that go into making a production. That is what production is. So again, let's start from the top here. Talent. Who is going to be on screen? When, what are they doing? Why are they saying it? Et cetera, et cetera. Having someone to direct them. Having someone around to be able to get them to say, do, participate in the things that need to be participated in. I'm going to tell a funny story now about talent. Back when we were running a little news program we used to do that won some national awards, we had interviewed a lovely young lady, but she was terrified and on camera, and terrified about being on camera. And she put on the lavalier microphone, and then started the interview, and then got so scared she ran away. And she didn't just run away, she ran like 3 blocks away, and we had to send somebody after her to go get it. So that's why knowing who your talent is extremely important, and not putting someone on screen that doesn't want to be there, not putting someone on screen that, you know, doesn't feel like this is good for them. You really don't want that. That's not great. Cameras. So again, who's going to be operating the camera? What does that look like? Making sure the settings are correct, making sure that lighting's correct, it's in focus, you got the color right, all the things that go into making a camera work. Again, lighting. So what are you going to do about lighting? There are 4 lights in here right now and a bounce board that I'm working with trying to make this effect happen. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to do our best. Audio. Audio is the biggest one. 70% of your video is audio. Let me repeat that. 70% of your video is audio. If your video has bad audio, no one will watch it. They don't care. There's no point, right? Like, it doesn't look good. Why would I want to? Another thing being props, whatever else is being used in the video. So again, if it's a product, you need the product for the video. If it's a service, then you need the action to occur. If it is a whatever is happening, you need to know what that is and how you're going to shoot it. And again, that changes. Sometimes you may get out there to video, record, film the thing, and it may not look anything like, or it may be completely different than what you've been told, and I've had that happen too. So you just adjust. You do the best you can, and again, just use your creativity and do what you can. And the last one for this category, and this is the secret one for this one, and again, this one probably should be in pre-production, but we're going to talk about it in production for a very specific reason, and that's storage and transport. We're going to talk about storage again. Now, this is storage on the day of the project. So if you're recording on a camera and you're recording a lot of things, you're going to need to be able to offload that footage somewhere. So make sure you bring an extra hard drive and a laptop, or just a bunch of extra SD cards. And that's usually the way we do it. We usually just shoot on multiple SD cards to make sure that we don't ever run out of space. That's not really a concern, thankfully, anymore, if you know the size considerations of what it is you're shooting. And the last one is transport. Transport of the gear on set or wherever you are. If you're shooting everything in one location, one of the best things you can do is grab like a utility cart or some other like shopping cart style apparati that they may have on site, or you can bring with you. We have like a little red wagon, a little fold-out red wagon that we bring, and you can put all the stuff in there. Because usually if you're shooting at like a factory or a manufacturing facility, anything like that, anything big, you're going to have to go from station to station to station to station to station. And like, you're going to have to be wandering around this place for a good bit. You really don't want to be carrying all that gear all day long. Trust me, I've done it. You don't want to do it. You need to put it in the cart and move it around. All right. Last category, post-production, okay? Now, post-production is the trickiest of all of these, because if you've done pre-production correctly and you've done if you've done production correctly, then post-production should be pretty close to a breeze. You know what you're doing, you know why you're doing it, you've already outlined everything, you've got a script in place, the voiceover's done, or you record the voiceover in production, get it ready for post-production, you know? All the things have come together, you have all of the pieces assembled, or you have all the pieces together in a bucket, but they're not put together in terms of a puzzle. So if you've done those 2 previous steps correctly, this one should go really well. But if you haven't, and on productions you hear things like fix it in post, you probably have a problem. And you don't know what the problem is yet until you know what the problem is. And if they're telling you fix it in post, or if they're saying they're going to fix it in post, I wouldn't believe it. Because there's not really a whole lot that you can do much. Now, granted, there's a lot you can do in terms of like light levels and if it looks dark, you know, like easy things like that, easy fixes like that. But if the audio's wrong, it's harder to fix, much harder to fix. If the shot's just bad, it's not really a whole lot you can do to fix it. There's things that don't really matter much, like if it's shot in the wrong frame rate. If you're trying to do a fast frame rate thing, that can be a problem, but generally it doesn't matter. So there's some stuff that does matter. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't. But just be careful whenever you hear someone say, we're going to fix it in post. All right, so post-production includes the editing, so that means like just the basic story structure, cutting together, taking that script from the original pre-production stage, taking all the elements from production, going by that script and attempting to assemble it into some sort of final product. That's what you're going for with that script. And that editing process. You add on some music. I usually start with music. My first thing that I do is, before I even cut the piece together, is I try to go find a piece of music that I think is going to reflect what it feels like. Because from there, I know what kind of product that I can make based off the music and the timing and whatever else. It's very hard to go ahead and cut a piece together and then add music to it. Unless you know the music's at a certain beats per minute and you're cutting on the exact beat per minute, yada yada, if you're trying to do any sort of match action or anything else that's happening. Otherwise, it's really, really hard. Movies usually match the music to the scene. But in video production, we have to match the scene to the music, the way that it goes, which is fine. I actually prefer it that way. I like getting the feel of the music out and knowing that this is going to be like one of the highlight pieces of this and what it all kind of revolves around in post. Transitions. So what kind of transitions are you using? So hard cuts, some dissolves, some swipe cuts, maybe some stars. There's all kinds of transitions that you can use. Some window blinds, some fireworks, a whiteout. Like there's many transitions you can use in post. Professionally, there's only a few that you generally use unless it's a very niche situation where you want to do that. It all really depends on what your project is. I can't tell you what's right or wrong. I've used some wild transitions on stuff that you probably shouldn't, only because I think it's funny. And to me, it gives it that extra little, sets it apart if it's done right. Now, granted, I'm not going to put a star wipe in the middle of, somebody's, very serious thing, but like an occasion, so like everybody knows about the Star Wars fade wipe. That's a good one, like a non-traditional cut in a traditional medium. Great, that's how it came about. There's a lot of those that you can do. It just depends on what you're doing with transitions and how you want to structure it. Again, I prefer either the dissolve or just the hard cut. If I have a hard cut, I try to hide it if I can underneath something. So I'll add a piece of B-roll, and I think that's probably what's going to come next on top of it. And what B-roll is the, like all the other stuff that goes along with the video. So A-roll is me talking right now. B-roll is anything else shown on screen over the top of me while I'm talking, and that's what B-roll is. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have enough B-roll for what it is that you're talking about. So for this particular piece, I'm going to probably go out and get some stock footage because I've got access to it, so why not, right? Last thing for this category, and this is the secret thing for this one, is knowing what file type to export to. This is a big one. because if you're uploading to a platform, or if you're trying to upload to an ad service or another particular, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you upload it in the best quality, but you want to keep your file size as low as possible because, again, storage is still an issue. So usually what we do is export a really large file, like the large lossless file, and then put that away on a hard drive, and then create a smaller file for YouTube, social media, etc. And then that's the one that we distribute out. And if a client asks for the bigger file, and we always have it, it's not a big deal. But we prefer to hand you the smaller one because it's what we use, it's what we're going to show. It's what it's just as good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just if you're going to archive it and pull from it later to make another thing, you want the bigger one. You don't want the smaller one. So that's really the only reason for the bigger file type, is just for archival purposes. So yeah, that's that help. So there are the 3 stages of production. If you stuck around this long and you have paid attention, there is a secret 4th stage to production that we haven't really discussed. And it's not really production necessarily, but it is something you should think about on the back end of whatever it is that you're making. And that is distribution. Where is this going? And what are you going to do with it? And this applies to both photos, videos, whatever. Just because you make this thing, and this is really a problem that we ran into with clients before, is that you want a video, and we understand that. That's great. I would love to make your video. I would absolutely love to make your video. I think that's great, and I will help you make whatever video you want to make. The flip side is, though, what's going to happen when I hand it over if I'm not in charge of distribution, right? So where is it going to go? Is it going to go on YouTube? Is it going to go on Facebook? Is it going to be a part of an ad campaign? Is it going to go on television? Is it going to be, where is it going to go? What are you going to do with it? You don't want to make the video. Now again, if it's for posterity's sake, we've done that for companies where they want an anniversary video and it's just for them internally, or it's a Christmas video, or it's, whatever else you can think of. A board video, a presidential announcement, yada, yada, whatever, those are all internal videos. And they want those to keep for them, which is great. And they put that out however they put that out. But if it's for the general public, what do you do with it? Where does it go, right? So the secret 4th stage to production is distribution, figuring out where you're going to put it when it's all said and done. All right, well, I hope that this was helpful. If you have any more questions, please feel free to visit visualmediaco.com and use the contact form there. And yeah, send in a question. Happy to answer anything you like. Going to do more in these series. And hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Get results with media. 85% of all U.S. internet users watched online video content monthly. 85% of businesses use video as a marketing tool. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they see it in a video. Visual content is the most influential, effective, and engaging communication method available to businesses and brands today. At Visual Media Co., we provide you with creative and inspiring solutions for all your digital media needs and present your vision in action through video production, photography, and design. With over 20 years of experience, our award-winning talented team members begin each new project with an essential consultation, working with you to understand exactly what you need. We have the experience, skill, and professionalism to show you in your best light, get you noticed, and improve your brand awareness. Over the years, we've produced content for multiple businesses and industries, and we're confident we can help you get results with media. For engaging corporate, promotional, or commercial videos, informative, educational, and easily understood training videos, we provide a professional service that presents your vision in action and showcases your company profile, products, and services through creative visual explanations and motion graphics. From pre-production and the initial planning stage, we move to the actual filming and then weave all the parts together in the post-production stage, executing a perfectly polished product. Photography. Whether you need corporate event, business, a headshot, a personal or group portrait photo, product photos, portfolio shots, planned poses, or pictures that naturally happen by themselves on location, we use high-quality equipment to deliver the perfect picture. We also craft vivid visuals, lively logos, brilliant business cards, and anything else you need to make sure that your first impression will be a memorable one. Our long list of satisfied and returning customers says it all. We are passionate about what we do, and we're not satisfied until you are. Let Visual Media Co. craft your unique visual story by visiting our website at visualmediaco.com today.